Good afternoon and welcome to episode 3 of TeacherTech, making your job easier with technology. On this episode, we are focusing on my school and our start of the year professional development, and I am working currently at Kempner High School in Fort Bend ISD. I am a teacher in the special education department. Just a little bit about me. My background includes school administration as well as IT positions, where I previously was an IT professional before becoming a teacher back in 2002. I am beginning my 14th year in education, and I do continue to utilize technology throughout my work as well as instruction. A few interesting facts about myself for those that have worked with me and may not know much about me, which is probably everyone. I am bilingual in English and Spanish. I am a native of Southeast Texas. I was born in Angleton, nearby. I'm married, 9 years now, no children. And my wife and I have hosted 5 high school foreign exchange students, and they all attended here at Kempner High School. So they may have been in your class. You may know some of those kids. What are we going to learn today? We're going to discover technology. We're going to learn about a variety of tech devices. We're going to look at some specific apps. And if we have time, we're going to see some demonstrations. At the very least, I have some screenshots of demonstrations of some of these apps. And then you're going to find out where to go next. First, we're going to talk about a little bit about what are the traditional uses of technology. Your computer at home and at work, that's traditional technology. That is no longer high tech, that is just normal everyday tech. But it is important. You use it for word processing, for spreadsheets, for PowerPoints, and for other things as well. Those are probably your 3 main applications other than web-based functions. They are not high tech or new again, but they are very important. You write your lesson plans and you create lists and you do calculations and you create presentations. Great tools. They need to continue to be used. But there are many other things available to us, and we're going to talk about some of those things. We also have instructional technology. Now, instructional technology, you're thinking, oh, I've seen this before a million times. I've done training. You have a projector, maybe you have smartboard. You probably have a document camera. You probably have classroom computers, and everyone has access to take their classes to the computer labs or to the library computers. These are instructional technology resources. So what you're looking at here is the ability to use technology to teach and to ensure students are learning, and that is awesome. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today, we are talking about tools to make your job easier. This is not instructional technology. We're not going to talk about how you're going to use tools to help teach your students. That's a different topic. What we're trying to do is free up time for you to prepare things for teaching your students. You want to focus on learning. We're freeing up time, and we're going to be using technology that's already available to you, and that in some cases is available at a low cost that you may choose to spend money on to simplify your life, not only your work life, but your life in general. Now, this year we are very, I'm sure you're all very happy, like I am, to have a new teacher laptop. Now, some people are probably thinking that seems rather ordinary, but it's new for us, and it is a new, faster, better computer than when we had it before. But it is also portable, which means you can take it wherever you need to take it in order to get your work done. That is a new resource for us. Definitely need to use that. The district may have provided you, or you may have purchased your own iPad, and you may have purchased your own tablet. You may use for personal and or work reasons presently, or maybe just personal reasons if you bought it for home use. I'm going to show you some ways that you might want to add to that some functions that are going to make it easier for you at work. It's going to make it where you save some time. It's going to make it where you can stay more organized, and to where you can focus your time and your efforts on student achievement rather than on menial tasks that can be accomplished through technology. Another type of technology is a Chromebook, and so some people are probably familiar with this and some are not. A Chromebook is like a small laptop, essentially, but very low cost, anywhere from $150 on up, but you can buy a number of them in the under $200 range. So about $180 will get you a pretty decent one, and there are probably maybe 5 or 6 different models available in that price range, brand new. A Chromebook basically is a laptop with a web browser, essentially. And if you can run it in a Chrome browser, you can run it on a Chromebook. And if you think about it, probably almost everything you do on your computer, with the exception possibly of Microsoft Word or Excel, is in a web browser. And that means that for the most part, this will replace a computer. The main advantage of the Chromebook is portability. It can easily fit in a small bag, even a purse, and be carried to meetings and to other locations where you may not wish to take a nicer or heavier or more powerful computer. Your smartphone, I'm sure you have one in your pocket. I'm sure right this minute that you have one in your purse or pocket or bag, and maybe you even are using it right this minute. I'm going to show you some ways that you can use your smartphone or your tablet, generally have the same apps. You can use your smartphone to make your job easier. Alright, so your smartphone might be an Apple iPhone or an Android-based phone such as a Samsung or LG, or a Windows phone, which are becoming more common. All of these smartphones are excellent tools to help make your life easier as a teacher. I'm going to show you some of the apps that you can use to make that happen here in just a moment. But first we're going to determine, okay, so what exactly is a mobile device? Tablets, iPads, Microsoft Surface, e-readers, and smartphones. These are all mobile devices. These are things that you easily pick up, toss in your bag or your pocket, and take with you, and that you would not hesitate to do that with. These are mobile devices. You can walk around the classroom with it. It's nothing big or heavy or bulky. These are mobile devices. And so we're going to talk about some apps that you can use on these mobile devices. This is just a sampling of what's available out there, and I'm going to go from something very simple to maybe a little bit more complicated tools, as well as some built-in tools that come with your phone that maybe you're not using, but you should. And we're going to just kind of go through some of those. But keep in mind as we go through this, there is not just one good app for each function as a general rule. You can almost find 5 or 6 different apps to do any given thing. And with any major app, such as Evernote, for instance, there are direct competitors that are available for you to consider. So we're going to take a look at just a few examples. This is not in any way inclusive. There are something like 1 million apps in the App Store from Apple. So you can probably find hundreds or possibly thousands that are specifically intended for teachers to use. We're just going to talk about a few of them just to give you some ideas, get your kind of your juices flowing, and get you thinking about how to use this technology. And nobody can do it for you, but it can make your life easier once you start using it, and it can save you time. First, I'm going to start with the most simple thing here, and that is iGrader. iGrader is a simple, I mean really, really simple pocket grader app. It replaces your cardboard easy grader that you may have used since the dark ages. It is free. It takes up hardly any space on your phone, so some people have older phones and can't accept much download capacity. It doesn't matter. This app is tiny. It doesn't take up any space at all. I mean, it's just very tiny. It'll take you literally probably about 10 seconds to install it once you locate it in the App Store or the Google Play Store. It is available for iPhone and Android. Here's what it looks like. Basically, it launches. It looks like this on the left. Type in the number of questions. You tap calculate. It takes you here, and it's going to give you, based on the number of questions that you told it, it's going to give you the percentage grade based on the number right and or the number wrong, depending on what you need. It does have a letter scale, which is adjustable should you need that. Although most of the time you're not going to need that. Basically, you probably just need percentages, which is going to give you. And this is going to be available to you anywhere in your pocket. You don't need to carry around that easy grader anymore, or calculate or make up your own little grading grid on a post-it note. It's right there. It's free. We're going to get a little bit more, I don't say more complicated, but a little bit more advanced in terms of the quality and expanse of an application. We're going to talk about ZipGrade. Now, ZipGrade allows you to grade test quizzes, assessments instantly on your phone or tablet. It uses the camera in your phone as a scanner. It lets you download. You can download from ZipGrade.com the free test bubble-in sheets of different sizes, anywhere from 20 up to 100 questions. And you don't need to leave your classroom in order to grade your papers. You can do any sort of matching or multiple choice test or quiz, even a short little 20 question quiz, which is available. And you can have those grades ready before, if you want to, before the kids even leave the classroom. They could, as soon as they give you their paper, you can grade them, or you can collect all the papers and then get your phone or tablet out and quickly grade them all right then while they're working on something else. If you're a little bit more of an advanced user, or if you would like help at a later time on how to do this, you can upload your class roster and preprint test sheets. Now you upload the roster that you have downloaded, in our case from Skyward, and it does work. I've done it. It's super easy. It makes your life easier as far as grading these papers. Don't take multiple choice or matching grading home ever again. Let your kids bubble in the answers. Don't run to a Scantron machine. Don't have to, quickly get your things together and spend, a portion of your planning period having to grade papers, or even worse, having to do it after school or before school. Or think about final exam days, right? There's always a line at that Scantron machine, and usually you can only find maybe one Scantron machine in the school that works. Well, this eliminates that. You don't even need to utilize the Scantron machine. What you're going to do is use your phone or your tablet, and you're going to have your grades ready before anyone else. Alright, so when you launch ZipGrade, this is an example of what it looks like when you would be scanning a test paper. This is on an iPad. It looks very similar on the phone. And you can see, basically, you just hold the device over the paper. Once it reads it, you'll switch out your papers and go on to the next one. This is an example of the forms available to download from ZipGrade.com. This is a 20-question form, which is useful for a short quiz or short assessment. And this actually prints out, I believe, 4 to a page. So you just cut it up into 4. So each student gets a fourth of a page. Just a little, like a little quiz answer sheet. But they go up to 100 questions on the answer sheets, which will make it useful for longer final exams. This is what it looks like when you launch the app on an Android device, and it's very similar on the iPhone as well. And you can see what you're going to begin with would be, once you've created your classes, which you would do more easily on the web, you would click on quizzes, and here under your quizzes you would create new quiz, and what you're going to do is go ahead and enter your answer key. So if you look here on the left, you'll see you click edit key, and then it'll take you to the next screen where you actually tap with your finger the answers for each question. Each question can have more than one answer, which allows you to use it for matching questions as well. And you'll scroll down, and let's say it'll be however many questions that you told it that it's going to be. So in this case, on this particular quiz, I had 64 questions, which is kind of an odd number, but it was 64, and then it automatically calculates those grades. So you go ahead and get your key created, get everything ready to go. You're going to go ahead and click on, back here on this screen, you click on Scan Papers. You'll see right there on the left-hand pane. Click Scan Papers, and you're going to point your phone camera at the papers, and it's going to automatically read the student ID, and then it's going to grade the papers and assign a grade. Basically, once that's concluded, then you would be able to look at your item analysis, where you can see how many students got the correct answer, and then which incorrect answers were chosen. This can sometimes reveal a lot about the content that you have taught. It also can show you if you made a mistake on creating the test. On the right, you can see here a list. This is the roster of all 5 of the students that took this particular quiz. Actually, this is a different quiz than what's on the left, but nonetheless, I can't show you real student names. So on the right, you'll see some fake student names, and if this were a longer list, you would just scroll down through the whole list, and it does order them by highest to lowest. The ZipGrade Cloud is actually the web interface for ZipGrade, and you don't use it to grade papers, but instead your phone or your tablet uploads the data from your papers to ZipGrade to your private account. You create the account here. It is free to create an account, and it will automatically upload your quizzes or tests and all of the scores into the cloud, and they're accessible at that point. You can view them, or you can even download the data in different formats or do reports in a variety of ways. I actually have a YouTube video on my YouTube channel. It's episode 2, which covers this in somewhat greater detail, although it's impossible to cover the full detail. But if you would like to view that, you could look at my YouTube channel and see a more detailed video on ZipGrade. It is an awesome tool. I do highly recommend it. This is the URL for my ZipGrade video. All right, the next app, probably my second favorite, but number one used mobile phone app that I use for making my job easier as a teacher. And what this is a Camscanner. Cam as in camera. And Camscanner eliminates the need for using a scanner, such as a flatbed scanner, in your classroom or even at home. I use it everywhere. You can scan and upload notes, reviews, assignments, worksheets, anything that you need a student or parent to be able to access. You can scan it and instantly put it on Edmodo, Google Drive, OneDrive, or you can email it to that person or to yourself. And it's instant and it is super easy. I'm going to show you how this works. You're probably thinking, well, of course I can take a picture or something with my phone and email it to myself. Now this is much better than that. Let me show you how it works. First, this allows you to scan multiple page documents, and taking photos with your camera won't let you do that. That would only let you, say, email multiple pages. So if you have 5 pages, you'd have to take 5 photos, email 5 photos. And even then, it wouldn't be very legible. It would be discolored, possibly hard to read, and definitely not aligned and not very nice for printing. But what Camscanner does is it scans the multiple page documents automatically for you. It saves them as a PDF file, and that allows you to then send the file. Now this is free. If you use the free version, it does put a small watermark at the bottom, which isn't not very intrusive, but it is low cost to purchase as well. I believe about $3. And it's available for Android, iPhone, and Windows Phone. I use the Android version. I have tried the iPad version. It works just fine as well. So highly recommended. Let me show you what it looks like on Android. Now this is my actual phone and my actual things that I've scanned recently on my phone. So that basically when you open the app, that's what you see is a list of what you have scanned and are saved on this particular phone. You can also save on the cloud, but it is not required. You don't have to create an account with Camscanner. You can simply use your phone and nothing more. So here I took our welcome back letter from Mr. Morgan, and I put that letter on the table and pointed my camera at it with the app and took a picture, and then there it goes. So you can see it automatically identified the corners and the edges, and then once I agreed that those were the corners and the edges and I clicked on the check mark, it actually straightened out that paper for me, the scanned copy. It whitened up the whites, made it nice and bright and clear, it made the blacks nice and black and legible, and made this into a nice PDF file that could be emailed, it could be printed, it could be shared. Now this is useful for printed documents, for handwritten notes, and even for, in some cases, artwork and things that you just want to have a nice PDF copy of to send out or to save for yourself. And you can see it does an excellent job. It takes that photo on the left, which is something you could do with just your photo app on your phone, of course, but it makes it to the nice clear document on the right, and then you can take that document once it's completed. You click on at the bottom there, share, where it has the arrow, and it gives you share options based on the apps you have installed on your device. So I have Edmodo installed on my phone, so if I want to put this file directly on Edmodo, I just click Edmodo. It's going to prompt me to type in a comment to go with it. I'm going to upload it, and in 2 seconds I'll be able to go over to edmodo.com, and my upload will already be there, visible and available to students. Or in the case of if you have parents that have signed up for Edmodo, they would see that as well. So you can easily update this on a daily basis or a weekly basis without a lot of effort, and you wouldn't even really have to add any extra items to your routine. This would actually save you a lot of time. Just to show you that there are multiple versions of this app. It's available for Windows and Apple. The Apple version looks really similar to the Android version. This is the Windows version. The Windows version Windows Phone version looks a little different, but it's just to point out that it is available even with slightly different appearances. The next mobile app that I want to talk about is Wunderlist. Now, Wunderlist is a to-do list creator that creates a cloud-based to-do list, but it has some really special features. It's not just a list. It allows you to access this by web browser, smartphone, tablet of any kind. The synchronization is instant. So if you add an item in one device, it appears on all devices. If you clear an item on one device, it clears on all devices. It's free. This was recently purchased, or the company was bought by Microsoft. So eventually this will be Microsoft Wunderlist. Right now it's just Wunderlist. And here's some of the unique features. You can share your lists with colleagues or family members. So here's some examples. I share a grocery list with all my family members. We can create a grocery list and be able to each add items to it, see all the items, and anyone can check off the items when they are purchased. This is an awesome tool. If my wife sends me to the grocery store, she goes, oh, we need a few things. She doesn't have to tell me the things and I have to write them down and so forth. Or even sending a text message, which is not that inconvenient either, not necessary. She says, oh, I'm going to add it to the Wunderlist. And so she goes into the grocery list on Wunderlist, adds the items, and immediately they're there on mine as well. You could do the same thing by sharing meeting action items, for instance, with your team members or department. And that would allow you to keep track of when action items have been completed within your professional group. Basically, never write a paper to-do list again. Here's what it looks like on Android. This is my actual installation. You can create folders. I've created a folder called Work, in which my work lists exist. And I created one called Integrating Tech for today. And you can see if you click on tap on Integrating Tech, you would end up here looking at the list. If I checked off an item here, it would make a neat little sound and it would disappear and it would show up under completed items, which by default is invisible, but you can click on show completed items if you want to see them. And it's just less cluttery if you leave it where it doesn't show the completed items. So all you see is what you still need to do. This is the web browser interface on Wunderlist.com. You can see the background and everything is exactly the same. That background is actually one that I chose, so you can choose your own, but it will appear in every version of Wunderlist that you use. And you can see the format looks basically just the same. And it's going to look the same way on an iPad and on an iPhone and any other device that you use it on. There actually is an app you can install on your computer as well, but I don't think it's necessary. I just use Wunderlist.com, and it's accessible through any browser that I access. This is a great tool. Once you start using it, it may not sound that amazing, but once you start using it, it will really change the way that you organize yourself. You will no longer have a desk full of post-it notes reminding yourself to do different things, or lists of things, or to-do lists for the day. They're all going to be here. As you can see, I have just a few lists that I make for various purposes that I've used them for. You can create as many lists as you want. Next would be mobile app would be Google Keep. And Google Keep is part of the Google suite of applications. It allows you to do to-do lists, or to create to-do lists, much like the Wunderlist. But it also has a few other abilities, and it really has a little bit more of I would say, a post-it note appearance. It's accessible on all platforms, just like Wunderlist, and it may just come down to preferences. This connects with your Google account. Here's what it looks like in a web browser. Basically, yeah, it looks kind of like post-it notes, right? You can make them into to-do lists, or you can make them as like a note, literally just a note. You can rearrange them all you want by clicking your mouse and dragging the items around. No matter where you log into your Google Keep, it's going to be the same. So it's on whether you logged into it on your device, your tablet, phone, home computer, work computer. It's all going to be the same. And when you look at, for instance, here's the Android version of the app. The layout looks very similar as well. There may be some slight differences in what the position of items based on the size of the screen, but all the items are there. And again, instant synchronization. Anything that's added or created on any of your devices will appear on all of the devices. Okay, and next this is kind of a different category of app, but it shares some things with Evernote. Some people compare Evernote with Google Keep in some ways, but Evernote's quite different in my opinion. Evernote lets you create memos that are accessible from any location and clip things such as emails, web pages, and so on. And they are all instantly saved in Evernote in the cloud. And this integrates with Outlook and with browsers and with lots of things. And what this does is it allows you to have a central repository for everything that is of interest or need for you. And you can create categories, home and work and what hobbies and whatever it may be. But what it allows you to do is instantly put those things up there without having to, you don't have to go open an app and open a web page and click and drag. And no, it provides you with tools to make this easier. So let me give you a couple of things extra. One thing that's, I would say, an extra feature of Evernote that I don't think exists on other programs is it has a secret email address that only you know. And when you send things to that email address, it will automatically put them into your Evernote. And then those items become completely searchable by keyword. So you could put in literally 1 million items into your Evernote. And let's say that 20 of those items had a title that included the word teacher. You type in teacher, it's going to search and display your 20 items that contain that word. Okay. It is free with limitations. For most people, the limitations are not of any significance and it will work fine. If you are a heavy user, you may want to pay the annual subscription, which is about $50 for a year. Okay, here's an example of how you would use Evernote. It's one of many ways. This is not the only way it's used, but once you've installed Evernote, you do need to install Evernote on your computer. It's a free download. It'll create a little icon that looks like an elephant on your Chrome browser. Let's say you would like to clip or save this page. You would click on the little elephant and you would select how you want to save it. In this case, I chose full page. And you would click on Organize, which is where you would like to save it. And I'm going to save it under Personal Notes. And then click Save. And now, when you actually go to Evernote, in this case, I'm not using the Evernote app. I'm going to evernote.com. You would be able to see what you just clipped. Now, what it's showing here is not a website display. What it's showing here is what it has saved in Evernote. So in 10 years, if you could open up Evernote and this note is still going to be there, just how it is now, even though the Fort Bend ISD website will have changed continuously. So this is to save content, not to bookmark it. It's a very big distinction, and this is actually very powerful to be able to save the content, and it is permanently saved in your Evernote. You can see the same content in the Android version. And of course, there's some compression there, but it's all there. Okay, OneNote is a Microsoft product. It's part of the Office 365. Basically, you have unlimited storage with this by using your Fort Bend ISD account. You're going to create notes and memos that are accessible, and everything is basically in most ways comparable to Evernote. Now, like I said, remember there's always more than one option available. You can clip emails and so on. I will say there are some limitations to OneNote, and that the ones that I know of are: one, that you can not save certain file types into OneNote. Whereas Evernote, you can save any file. OneNote does have limits on the file types, and I haven't found a place that actually lists the file types yet, but I know that they are limited. And the second thing is I don't think it has the secret email address function, although I could be wrong, but I don't know of that existing to where you can send items to an email address that will then appear in your OneNote. I believe you do have to actually select that item yourself and upload it through one of a variety of means. One of those means will be the OneNote Clipper, which is similar to the Evernote Clipper that you just saw. You would need to install that from OneNote.com onto your version of Chrome. And once you do that, again, we're at the Fort Bend ISD page. You'll click on the OneNote Clipper, which is a little purple N icon on the toolbar. And it's very, very similar to Evernote in this regard. So what you're going to do then is select how you want to save, where you want to save, click Clip, and then it saves it. Here we're logged into OneNote online, and you can see the same thing. This content has been saved as a note, and it looks really similar to Evernote in many ways. And this is the same thing on an Android app of OneNote. I don't think it looks as good as the Evernote app does, but here you can see the full page, and you can scroll around with your finger or your thumb and see the whole thing. Again, the content is accessible. All right, and now we're going to talk about another way to utilize your device, and that is using mobile calendar, or your mobile calendar in email. Now, this is now linked through Microsoft Office 365. It is accessible anywhere, And the best practice is to connect your phone's calendar/email app to your Fort Bend ISD account. And what that does is allow you to receive reminders of appointments and upcoming events, use the calendar to stay organized, and using email allows you to keep yourself updated with what's going on. That depends on your personal desire, how much you want to stay connected. I guess, my whole career always been very, very connected to work at all times. Some prefer to disconnect, and that's fine. You don't have to synchronize the email to your phone. You can actually do the calendar by itself. The calendar is not going to really be intrusive on you other than to remind you of things that you probably want to remember, such as, hey, don't forget staff meeting this morning, right? So you can have that remind you of that, let's say 2 hours prior to the meeting, and you'll wake up in the morning and you see on your phone, reminder, staff meeting. You're like, oh yeah, I got to get to school on time today. So that's an excellent functionality that I recommend that you use. And you can also use the Outlook mobile app. So if you're using an iPhone or an Android, they all have built-in apps to do this, to the calendar and email. But if you don't like those apps, you can download the Outlook mobile app. I personally prefer the built-in app, but the Outlook mobile is available for you. It is free. Okay, here's Outlook on the computer, and this is my current calendar, which it hasn't filled up yet, but will very soon. And you can see here I have some professional development courses on my calendar. Here you can see the same thing on my phone. I did not type this into my phone. I only synchronized my phone to my Fort Bend ISD account, and you can see that my professional developments are there. And right now here I am looking at Friday, August the 14th. And you can see that they're there. If I were to make changes back on the computer, they would appear here. If I were to make changes here on my phone, they would appear on my computer. So you can create an appointment from your phone, and it appears on your computer as well. So rather than having to wait till you get back to your computer to enter those appointments, you can go ahead and do that right there on the spot before you forget. Stay organized, save yourself some time, have more free time, have more time to get focused on teaching and learning. Here's what it looks like on an iPad, and many of you do have iPads, and it works the same way. The iPad version looks much like Outlook, for instance. Same thing, synchronizes, everything the same. You can synchronize it on as many devices as you want. This is my iPad. It also synchronizes with my phone. If I had an Android tablet, it would synchronize with that, and so on. If you haven't set this up before in your iPad, or this is very similar, it would look the same basically on an iPad or an iPhone. And there are several steps involved here, but there's a video that I have on, a web link I'm going to give you on how to do this. It gives you all the steps very briefly. Once you have it done, once you have that synced, I have my email available on my iPad. This is my work email. This is what it looks like. And then I have the same work email on my Android phone. You can see this is the same content, and I can access it here or there, or on my Outlook on my computer, or on Outlook online. Here are the web addresses for how to set up Outlook. The first one is for Android. The second one is for an Apple device, iPad or iPhone. These are actually going to link you to Microsoft's own website directly to the article that you need. For Fort Bend ISD teachers, one thing that we have available to us is a Skyward mobile access app, and this is useful for probably only about one thing there. You could, in theory, enter grades and things on it, but I would not recommend it. What you can do that is useful is take attendance on your feet. Remember, we have those 10 minutes deadlines. We need to get that attendance put in the first 10 minutes of class. Let's say you're just not able to sit down at your desk, or let's say you're not in your traditional classroom location with computer access. Pull that phone out of your pocket or out of your bag and launch your app. You can take attendance through the Skyward app. There may be other functions or information available through this app. Unfortunately, at this moment, I can't demonstrate that because Skyward is currently offline. But I encourage you to install the app, download it from the App Store or Google Play Store. Try it out, see what you can do with it. It is useful, I believe, for taking attendance and for being in compliance with that. When you download the app and launch it, what we're looking at here are actually screenshots from the Apple iPhone version. And you're going to have to click by district name, search for Fort Bend ISD, and once you've selected Fort Bend ISD, it is going to have you create a pin or passcode, a 4-digit number. This will be in lieu of typing in a password because that's not very easy to do on a phone. Instead, it replaces it with the PIN number, and that would allow you to access your information. It may look something like this. The actual menu items available depend on Fort Bend ISD, and again, we can't demonstrate that right now, but it will look something like this. All right, last big item for today. We're talking about cloud storage. Most of you, or maybe many of you, already use this, but I want to encourage you to use it if you have not, or use it more if you do. Think about this. Your H drive at work is a great place to store files, to save important information, except for one big thing. You can't access it from anywhere else except for your work computer while at work. And guess what? Sometimes you want those files when you're somewhere else. And so Google Drive and OneDrive and Dropbox are just examples of cloud storage. So what cloud storage is it allows you to access your files anywhere. And so if you put your files in a Google Drive on your work computer, it'll be accessible on Google Drive on your home computer and Google Drive on your phone, iPad, Android device, whatever device you have that has Google Drive, which is available for all of those devices. You can access it. Same for OneDrive. OneDrive is by Microsoft. And here's the advantages you have with Google Drive and OneDrive. Google Drive, with your district account, you get unlimited storage. Unlimited with your district Fort Bend ISD account. OneDrive, you get 1 terabyte of storage, which truthfully, that might as well be unlimited. Okay. And then another one that's popular is Dropbox. So with Google Drive, you are going to use your Gmail account or your district provided Google account. If you use your personal account, you'll have a much less storage space than with your district account. This does install easily on all of your devices. You can share files and folders with your coworkers. OneDrive, pretty much everything I just said about Google Drive applies. The main difference being that it's 1 terabyte instead of unlimited, but 1 terabyte really means basically unlimited because you're never going to be able to put that much stuff in your cloud drive. Again, it installs easily everywhere. You can share files or folders with coworkers. One advantage to OneDrive by Microsoft is that they will then make all the files that you have in OneDrive by Microsoft will be accessible in Office Online, on Office 365 Online, and I think you'll find that useful. I myself have been a heavy Google user, but I think that this year I'm going to switch to OneDrive for my work-related files, simply because it will be accessible through Office Online. Dropbox is, I think, the first big player, or maybe even the only one that started many years back. Therefore, many people have Dropbox accounts. It doesn't give you a lot of free space. District does not have an account with them, but it's valuable to have a Dropbox account even if you don't use it heavily, because a lot of people use it and they may wish to share files or folders with you through Dropbox, in which case you would need to have Dropbox installed on your computer. I use it simply because of habit, and I have many files that have been there for many years. Even though they only give you 2 gigabytes of storage, you'd be surprised at how far that will go with just basic document. Okay, so do you need more help? Hey, you know what? This was just an overview video, but here's what I'm going to tell you. Through the magic, as it were, of YouTube, you can locate how-to videos on almost any topic, including almost all of the software and apps that I mentioned here today. So not just my video, you can find videos that are detailed. I created a detailed video on ZipGrade, but nonetheless, my video isn't even the only one on ZipGrade. There are many other videos on that and many others. As a Fort Bend ISD teacher, utilize our digital learning specialist. And for our campus, that's Stacy Boudry. Her email address is here, stacy.boudry@fortbendisd.com. She can not only help you decide or figure out what to use technology-wise, she will help you create content. Just contact her. And I'm here also at Kempner. I can help with technical issues when possible. Just drop me an email. Again, my name is Michael Duran, michael.duran@fortbendisd.com. I want to thank you for your attention today. I do hope You got at least something out of this session that's going to be helpful for you, or at least something that will put a little seed in your mind for things that you're going to go investigate on how you can use technology to make your job easier as a teacher.